Every day you need to break free from the invisible chains that still hold you back, because they are what tighten your mind, weigh on your shoulders, and little by little, extinguish your will to continue. I know how much that hurts. Living trapped in lackluster stories, carrying pains that no longer belong to you, insisting on habits that only tire you. I know how suffocating that can be. But listen carefully, it's not life that holds you back. It's you who haven't yet had the strength to let go of what should have already gone. What you lack isn't luck, nor a new chance. What you lack is courage. Courage to let go of what has lost its meaning. When you finally do that, it's like getting out of the water after almost drowning. Air rushes into your lungs, your head feels light, and life begins to beat within you again. If you're reading this now, it's no coincidence. It's because there's a hidden energy inside you asking to awaken. And from today on, you will listen to that voice. Because if you don't release what drains you, it ends up extinguishing the life within you. And you won't let that happen. That's why today's invitation is simple and direct. Do your cleansing. Let go, even silently, of everything that holds you back. Cut away what weakens you. Let go of what steals your peace, not to please anyone, but to free your soul. And that's what we're going to talk about now. 10 things you need to leave in the past to reclaim the life that has always been yours. 1. Stop supporting the character you invented. How many times have you played a role just to please others? How many times have you smiled when you wanted to cry? Or stayed quiet when you wanted to say what you thought? This persona is like a very tight garment. On the outside it may seem beautiful, but on the inside it constricts, hurts, and takes away your breath. And the more you insist on wearing it, the more you forget what it's like to be light and free. You think you're protecting yourself, but you're silently betraying yourself. You say yes when you want to say no, you laugh at silly things, you agree with ideas you don't believe in, and in the end, all that's left is the emptiness of living a story that isn't yours. Stoicism reminds us, every time you pretend, you lose the chance to be true, and nothing hurts the heart more than realizing you've become a stranger in your own life. Seneca said that the greatest wealth is living in accordance with one's own nature, and your nature doesn't need masks nor anyone's acceptance. It needs your courage to be who you are, even if that displeases some people. Yes, when you start living your truth, some people will distance themselves. But look at it from another perspective. They were never truly on your side. They were on the side of the persona. Those who remain will stay for you. Authenticity doesn't try to fit in, it creates its own space. And that space is fertile. Your voice, your presence, and your real strength are born there. When you drop the mask, you lose nothing. You gain everything, the freedom to occupy the world with who you truly are. Today's Stoic practice is simple. Choose a situation in which you usually pretend. It could be smiling unwillingly, remaining silent when you want to speak, or accepting something you don't want to. And in that instant, decide to be sincere, even if it's uncomfortable. That's the seed of authenticity. If this lesson resonated with you, write in the comments. Today, I choose to be whole, because any character can fool the world for a while, but only the truth sets you free. 2. Let go of the idea that you need to arrive somewhere to be happy. Imagine someone sitting on the couch on graduation day, gazing at their newly earned diploma. That moment, which should be one of pure joy, lasts only a few minutes. Soon, the mind starts racing. And now what? I need a better job, a raise, more recognition. Life goes by like that, always believing that happiness is just around the next corner. But the truth is that happiness doesn't reside in the final destination. It's born along the way. It's in walking slowly down an ordinary street, in laughing at something simple, in finding pleasure, even in the small tasks of the day. Life happens along the way, but most people treat the journey as a waiting room until something grand arrives. Those who believe they will only be happy when they achieve something live in an endless race. Each victory brings only a few seconds of joy before the mind craves more. It's like trying to quench your thirst by drinking seawater. The more you drink, the emptier you feel. The Stoics never spoke of happiness as a distant prize. They spoke of eudaimonia, to live in accordance with one's essence, one's values, and to act in harmony with what is right. Viktor Frankl, who survived the concentration camps, wrote, Happiness cannot be sought. It appears as a result of dedicating ourselves to something greater than ourselves, and that's exactly it. True joy doesn't come from what you receive, but from what you build each day. Stop putting off your life. Happiness isn't waiting for you on a perfect day, nor in a flawless version of yourself. It lives in how you react to each moment, even the most difficult ones. So ask yourself, what have I been ignoring because I thought it was too simple to make me happy? Perhaps the answer that can transform your present moment lies there. Today, choose to find joy along the way. This decision, however small, is the beginning of a life where you stop chasing happiness and start living it. Because happiness is not a promise at the end of the road, it is built step by step, here and now. 3. Stop being a prisoner of the past. There are wounds that don't show on the outside, but bind you from within like heavy chains. They are disappointments that have never healed, mistakes you still carry as eternal guilt, memories that return disguised as fear, anger, or regret. These chains aren't in the world, they're inside your head. The past is over. It only remains alive because you feed it every day, and the choice is yours, to continue reliving it or to let it rest. You are not your history. You are not what was done to you. You are not the mistakes you made. You are what you do with all of that now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle that blocks action makes the action advance. What is placed in the way becomes the way." This is the turning point. Your wounds are not the end. They are the material that can be transformed into strength, but only when you stop running from them and decide to transform them into learning experiences. And how does this manifest in real life? Perhaps you still blame yourself for a wrong decision, a job you lost, a relationship that ended badly, or a chance you let slip by. The chain appears when, faced with something new, you think, "I'm going to make the same mistake again." Or maybe it's a cruel word someone said years ago and it comes back every time you try to grow, as if it still has power over you. Or it could be a mistake of yours that you keep reliving, as if it were proof that you're incapable. All of this holds you back, but the truth is, you don't have to carry this weight forever. Letting go isn't about erasing, it's about giving new meaning. It's about looking at the pain and saying, "This taught me something," and there's no need to shout or announce it to the world. The process is silent. It's about forgiving what was lacking, being grateful for what remains and making room for the new. That's how the chains begin to fall. Instead of wasting energy reliving defeats, do the opposite. Analyze your victories. Ask yourself, what did I do when I managed to win? What choices helped me get back on my feet? What forces supported me at that moment? This simple exercise shifts the mind's focus. It takes you out of prison and puts you on the path to building. That's when you understand. The past doesn't define me, it prepares me. Every time you choose to look at it this way, a link in the chain breaks silently. Because peace doesn't come from hiding scars, but from transforming them into stepping stones. The past can no longer hurt you unless you continue to feed it. 4. Stop trying to control everything. Have you ever noticed how the mind tires when it tries to hold the whole world in its hands? It's like pulling a rope too hard. At first it seems like you're in control, but soon your arms ache, your body feels heavy, and you're trapped by your own strength. That's the illusion of control, thinking that if you plan enough, worry enough, and watch everything, nothing will go wrong. But life doesn't follow your plans. Life follows its own path and there's no stopping it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It's foolish to demand that things happen the way we want. Accept the facts as they are, and your life will go smoothly." And that's exactly it. Calmness doesn't come from force, but from the wisdom to let go. When you relinquish the desire to control everything, you discover something that sets you free. There is always a space between what happens and what you do in response. That small space is the only place that truly belongs to you. It is where your freedom resides. Today's Stoic practice is this. Observe where your rope is stretched too tight and loosen one knot at a time. It might happen at work, when you try to revise everything, redo what was already done, and demand things that others already know how to do. In the end, you're left with exhaustion and delays, but no progress. Letting go in this case means trusting. Establish the objective, define the limits, and allow others to do their part. Or perhaps it's when a new tool emerges and, instead of learning, you waste energy lamenting the old version. This struggle leads nowhere. Letting go means ceasing to resist, accepting the new and learning to use it to your advantage. You don't control the past, but you can control your willingness to learn now. In relationships, you often try to control the other person's mood, rehearse responses, imagine reactions, and all of that weighs you down. Letting go means speaking clearly, setting boundaries, and following your own path, even if the other person doesn't change. You don't control other people's behavior, but you control your clarity and your presence. And then there are the invisible strings of the mind, those recurring thoughts, the thousands. It is, what if it goes wrong? What if they laugh at me? What if I lose everything? These mental scripts are like never-ending movies, draining your energy and leading you nowhere. The solution is simple and powerful. First, give the film a name. Tell yourself, this is just the script for yes, yes. Naming it already creates distance. Then divide it into two parts. What depends on me and what doesn't? What doesn't depend on me, I let go. What depends on me, I transform into an action, even a small one. Before acting, take a deep breath, break the cycle of anxiety, and bring your attention back to the present moment. This is how Stoic mental cleansing works. It removes unnecessary weight and makes room to invest energy only in what is truly within your control. Remember, you don't need to hold the world. You need to learn to let go. And when you let go, it's like relaxing your arms after fighting something impossible and finally breathing peacefully. 5. The trap of an insecure mind. There are times when you know exactly what you should do. It's as if your intuition shows you a clear map, with each step drawn out. But then a soft, almost hidden voice begins to whisper, is this really it? What if I'm wrong? What if they laugh at me? At that moment, the map disappears like smoke, and you start walking aimlessly. That voice doesn't shout, but it destroys little by little. It doesn't stop you from dreaming, but it convinces you that you don't deserve to get there. It doesn't clip your wings, but it makes you believe you don't know how to fly. Think about how many chances you've already missed because of it. How many times have you held back a yes that could have changed everything? How many paths haven't you taken because you trusted fear more than your own strength? Sometimes the price of this doubt is invisible but gigantic. A love you never experienced, a talent you never showed, an opportunity that will never return. Insecurity makes you see yourself as small in the mirror, weaker, more incapable than you truly are. And the worst part is that, when you accept this distorted image, you begin to live shrinking even while carrying greatness within. It's like having a golden key in your pocket and still being locked out. The door was never closed. It was your mind that made you believe you couldn't go through. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that man should fear, but never having begun to live." This statement is truly shocking, because insecurity steals exactly that: the courage to begin, to live what is already ahead of you, and to exist without needing to apologize for being who you are. The truth is clear. Insecurity doesn't show who you really are. It only reveals how much you've forgotten to believe in yourself. When you let doubt take control, you leave the field and go to the stands. You become just an observer of your own life, applauding achievements that could have been yours. It is at this point that change begins. Instead of wasting your energy fighting this doubt, use your strength to fuel courage. As Socrates said, the secret to transformation lies in putting all your energy not into fighting what has already passed, but into building what is yet to come. Don't waste time trying to negotiate with insecurity. Use that strength to ignite your own light, strengthen your spirit, and nurture the person you want to be, not the person you've already left behind. The phrase you should remember today is, "I am not my doubt, I am my courage." Write it down, repeat it, carry it with you and hold it in your heart. Those who hesitate remain stagnant. Those who decide change everything around them. Leave your commitment in the comments. Today, I choose to believe in myself. When you speak your decisions aloud, your posture changes, your timing changes, and the path changes too. Ultimately, the world doesn't bow down to the indecisive. It opens up to those who make a firm decision. 6. End the lack of consistency. Break this cycle of starting and stopping. Transformation doesn't come from a single day of effort, but from the sum of the days you persevered even without the will to. Inconsistency is deceptive. It makes you start enthusiastically and give up at the first difficulty. It's like lighting a campfire and leaving before adding more wood. The fire goes out before it illuminates. How many promises have you made to yourself? To start going to the gym on Monday, to wake up earlier, to read every day, to change a habit once and for all. Everything seemed to be going well at first, but all it took was fatigue, a criticism, or a loss of motivation for you to stop. Lack of consistency destroys dreams, not because you lack talent, but because you didn't maintain the pace. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca said, "Life is like a play. It doesn't matter how long it lasts, but how well it is performed." Consistency is that daily action. It's doing what strengthens you, even when the applause hasn't yet arrived. Consider simple examples. It's no use training hard for a week and then stopping for months. It's no use studying one day and never touching the book again. The body doesn't build strength with a single effort, and the mind doesn't gain clarity in just one day of discipline. It's repetition that shapes who you are. Stoic practice teaches the way. Create small goals that you can accomplish every day. If it's exercise, start with 10 minutes. If it's reading, 1 page. If it's writing, 1 paragraph. The secret is not in starting with full force, but in maintaining a silent discipline that over time transforms into power. Ask yourself, what did you start and leave behind? And what could you be reaping today if you had persevered? Every day lost due to inconsistency is a seed thrown away. Every day maintained through discipline is a brick laid in the foundation of your new life. Write to yourself, "Today I choose to be consistent," because it's not promises that change your destiny, but the habits you repeat every day. Only those who overcome inconsistency discover the silent power that transforms small steps into great victories. 7. Eliminate emotional dependency. No one comes to save you. No one has the duty to complete you. No one is obligated to carry your emptiness. What you desperately seek in others can only be born within yourself. Emotional dependence is treacherous because it begins with small actions. You can't go a day without receiving a message. You feel tightness in your chest if the other person takes too long to reply. You analyze every word trying to understand if they still like you. It seems like love, but it's a prison. And the more you give the other person the key to your happiness, the more fragile you become. If the other person is doing well, you breathe. If the other person withdraws, you collapse. That's not love, it's addiction. Don't confuse affection with attachment, nor companionship with dependence. True love is born between free people, not between two wounded hearts that use each other to fill their own emptiness. Seneca warned, "Those who depend on the happiness of others will never be happy themselves." It's difficult, but it's true. As long as your peace is tied to someone's mood, attitude, or presence, you will never have true tranquility. To love is not to be held captive. It's to share freedom. To be together is not to complete each other. It's to overflow. A healthy relationship isn't one where you need the other person to breathe, but one where you already breathe on your own and yet choose to walk alongside them. Try this simple test. If that person didn't text you today, would you still feel whole? If a date were cancelled, would your life lose its meaning? Or would you know how to use that time to take care of yourself? These answers show where your independence ends and your neediness begins. And this is where Stoicism teaches the way. Learn to nurture your inner world to the point where you don't need to beg for attention. Discover your own tastes, strengthen your values, cultivate your presence. The more self-sufficient you are, the more others will become a choice, not a necessity. Repeat this like a mantra. I am self-sufficient, and love is a choice, not a dependency. I don't need anyone to feel complete. I am already whole. True love isn't about holding on to someone out of fear of being alone. It's about being so full of yourself, so at peace, that even if the person leaves, you remain strong with a tranquil heart. Where there is completeness, there is freedom. 8. Overcome a fixed mindset. One of the most dangerous prisons of the mind is believing that you are already the way you are and that nothing can change. This is a fixed mindset, the idea that your intelligence, your talent, and your way of being are set in stone. But this is a lie that weakens you. Those who live trapped in what has already been cannot see what they can still become. It's like trying to move forward looking only in the rearview mirror. Thus, you repeat the same mistakes, see the same limitations, and relive the same falls, without realizing that the path to change is right in front of you. Think of someone who never tries to learn something new because they say, "I don't have the talent for it." Or that person who, after a sad end to a relationship, concludes, "That's just how I am. I'm not going to change." That's a fixed mindset working silently, preventing growth. The Stoics never believed that destiny was something that couldn't be changed. Epictetus said that no one is truly free until they learn to control themselves. And to master means understanding that the mind can be trained, expanded, and rebuilt no matter where you are. What you call my way may just be habit, fear repeated many times, or learned behavior that has become part of your self-image. But you are not a hard, still stone. You are like clay, something that can be molded anew. Every choice you make is a new sculpture of who you are. Let go of the fixed mindset and embrace the learner's mind. Always ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I improve now? If you made a mistake at work, instead of thinking, "I'm bad at this," say, "What is this situation trying to teach me?" If you gave up on a project, don't repeat, "I lack discipline." Ask yourself, what small habit can I create so I don't give up again? And if someone criticizes you, don't shut down. Listen and think, what can I take from this criticism that will help me grow? True wisdom isn't about having all the answers, but about having the courage to change your mind when necessary. If this message resonated with you, write in the comments, "Today I choose to learn and evolve." This simple choice already opens up space for the new and breaks the illusion that you need to live trapped in what you already know. Remember, a fixed mindset ties you to the old. A growth mindset opens paths to the new. Only those who have the courage to unlearn discover the true power of evolving. But there's something important to understand. If you've been trying for a long time to step out of your comfort zone and learn more, but haven't been able to, there might be something you're not aware of. I know what it might be. Anxiety. Anxiety is like a snake that creeps up silently and affects you without you even realizing it. It leaves you feeling unwell for days, months, and even years. Living like this is like being sick all the time, but I know a solution. Stoic philosophers, along with modern psychology, have a way to help you get rid of it. I managed to cure myself of this anxiety. I made a video explaining how you can get rid of this problem, and it's in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and start healing yourself from this feeling of anxiety. 9. Stop procrastinating. Tomorrow seems beautiful, but it's fragile. And yet, we live as if it were a certainty. We push forward dreams that burn inside, decisions that could change everything, transformations that are already begging to happen. How many times have you postponed that conversation that would solve a problem, that enrollment in a course that would open doors, or even the start of self-care that would improve your health? How many times have you promised yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," but tomorrow arrived and became just another wasted yesterday? Life doesn't wait, time doesn't make deals, and each day left behind is a flame that goes out before it shines. The only time that exists is today. Today is when your voice has power. Today is when your actions can change the course of things. Today is when you can break old patterns and start writing a new story. The future has not yet been born, and the past is already gone. Only the present breathes, and the present demands movement. Tolstoy said, "There is only one time that is truly ours, and the present. And the present doesn't ask permission. It flows lightly and silently like a river that never returns. The sand that slips through your fingers doesn't go back into the hourglass. So stop putting your life off. The time to act is now, so stop putting things off. Trade the false idea that you'll start at the right time for the courage of someone who understands that every minute is precious. You don't need everything to be perfect to take the first step. You just need to firmly decide that you're going to start now. Sometimes that means pressing the send button on that resume, making a call you've been avoiding for ages, or simply going for a 10-minute walk and taking care of your body. These are small but powerful actions that change the course of your life when taken in the present. And here's the challenge. When the urge to procrastinate arises, repeat to yourself, I don't wait for the right moment. I create the moment now. These words are not just a reminder, they are training for your mind. They teach you, little by little, that the future is not born tomorrow, but the moment you choose to get up and act. Time doesn't give second chances to those who procrastinate. It only rewards those who take action. And only those who value today earn the right to reap the rewards of tomorrow. 10. Let go of the rush. Haste is an invisible theft. It doesn't take something from you all at once, but it tears away pieces every day. First, it steals your peace. Then, it steals the pleasure of existing. And when you realize it, you're living like someone running to get nowhere. Haste creates the illusion that life is always just around the corner, always almost there, always lacking something. You wake up rushing, you talk rushing, you breathe rushing, but you don't live. You rush to get results, to be recognized, to prove yourself. But what do you gain from this, besides exhaustion? Haste is the daughter of comparison and the mother of anxiety. It convinces you that there's an invisible stopwatch measuring you, demanding from you, evaluating you. It whispers, you should be further along. You're already late. Look at others. And this is where the poison begins. Because when you believe this, you abandon your own rhythm and try to live at someone else's pace. But your journey has its own time. Your blossoming has its season. Your story has a rhythm that cannot be accelerated without breaking something inside you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, nature does not act hastily, but everything works together in its own time. Life is in no hurry. Fear is what makes you impatient. The fear of not being enough. The fear of not being seen. The fear of not having enough time. But the truth is, everything that is real only comes into being with time. No tree grows overnight. No root grows stronger in a week. No character is built at the speed of a click. Haste creates weak results. Time builds results that last. Think about relationships you tried to accelerate. The bond didn't grow. Think about projects you wanted to finish quickly, but ended up half-finished. Think about the body you tried to transform in a month. The results didn't last. Haste makes you plant without taking care of the soil. You want to harvest, but you don't want to water. He wants to arrive, but he doesn't want to walk. But life doesn't reward speed. Life rewards consistency. And there's an even deeper truth. When you live in a hurry, you miss the present. Your mind is always focused on the next step, the next goal, the next moment that doesn't even exist yet. And the present passes before you like a movie you watch distractedly. Life doesn't happen when you get there. Life happens while you're walking. Letting go of the rush doesn't mean becoming complacent. It's about learning to keep moving forward, but with presence. It's about walking with conviction, not with despair. It's about building one step at a time, trusting in the direction. The practice is simple yet transformative. Replace the question, when will it work, with how can I honor today's step? Today's step is everything. It is in him that you find your strength. It is in this that the mind learns to trust. It is in this that discipline becomes character. Seneca said, he who is in a hurry stumbles. And it's true. Haste makes you fall into the same traps, repeat the same mistakes, and always return to the same point. When you let go of the rush, something reorganizes itself inside. The body relaxes, the gaze clears, the soul breathes, and then you realize that you were always exactly where you needed to be to begin with. If you felt this inside, write it down as a silent commitment to your own life. Today I move forward with calm, firmness, and presence, because the future does not belong to those who run, but to those who persevere. 11. Stop looking for perfect endings. There's an illusion that accompanies many people without them realizing it. The idea that life's cycles need to end beautifully, harmoniously, and completely. As if every goodbye had to come with understanding, every departure had to be gentle, and every chapter closed with an elegant period. But life doesn't work that way. Life is full of interruptions, detours, silences, and doors that close without explanation. Many important stories end mid-sentence, and that's okay. The problem is that you keep waiting for a perfect ending that never comes. while your real life drags on, trapped in pauses that don't need to exist. Clinging to the ideal ending robs you of your strength. You wait for an apology that never comes. You wait for someone to recognize your worth. You wait for a sincere conversation that may never happen. You wait to understand why, when sometimes there is no why. There are situations that only end when you accept that they've already ended inside. When you let go of the desire to close the scene beautifully. When you choose to move on even without having all the answers. It's difficult to accept this because the mind likes complete stories. It wants meaning, order, and explanations. But growth rarely happens at the end. It happens through continuation. Life doesn't ask you to understand everything. It asks you to keep walking while meaning is born along the way. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the problem is not in the events themselves, but in the judgments we make about them. What you call an unresolved ending may, in fact, be the beginning of your freedom. Think about how many times you were stuck with someone because you were hoping for one last date. How many opportunities you let slip by because you were too busy trying to understand something that was already over. How many sleepless nights you lost trying to put together a puzzle that never had all the pieces. Meanwhile, life went on, chances passed. Your heart remained stagnant while the world called you forward. Letting go isn't giving up. It's recognizing that holding on hurts more than letting go. It's like trying to breathe underwater. At first you fight, resist, hold your breath, until your body begs for air, and you finally rise to the surface. Liberation doesn't come from understanding. It comes from the decision. There are cycles that end without ceremony because they have already fulfilled their purpose. They don't need applause or witnesses. They only need you to accept that it's over. So do it today. Stop looking for perfect endings where all that exists is the end. Don't expect a return, justification, explanation, or excuse. Closing cycles isn't something someone else does. It's something you do for yourself. Take a deep breath and tell yourself, I release what has already ended. Life doesn't reward those who understand everything. It rewards those who move on, those who let go of what weighs them down, open space for what is light. Those who stop asking for closure find new beginnings. You don't need a beautiful ending to start over. You just need to go. 12. Let go of the need to prove something to others. There is a silent prison that many carry without realizing it, the constant need to justify oneself, to show worth, to prove that one deserves to stay, that one deserves to be chosen, that one deserves to be seen. It's an exhausting quest, because no matter how much you do, it always seems like something is still missing. The approval of others is a bottomless pit. The more you try to fill it, the more it drains the best of you. And it starts early. A comment you heard in childhood, a criticism that stuck with you, a comparison disguised as advice. Little by little, you start believing you need to do more, be more, show more. You mold yourself to the gaze of others, as if your identity depended on the reflection in the eyes of those who observe you. Without realizing it, you begin to live in expectation of applause, and the applause never lasts. The truth is simple, but hard to accept. No one will validate you enough to fill an inner void. Because that void didn't stem from a lack of recognition. It stemmed from a lack of self. When you live to impress, you distance yourself from the person you truly are. You live trying to fit into places that weren't made for you. You squeeze yourself to fit into expectations that should never have been yours. Seneca said that it is impossible to be happy while depending on the opinion of others. And he knew what he was talking about. Whoever lives by the gaze of others dies from the absence of that gaze. You become a slave to what they show, what they say, what they think, and that which is yours, authentic, intimate, begins to disappear. Look at your life now. How many choices did you make thinking about what others would think? How many dreams did you keep hidden for fear of looking ridiculous? How many times did you speak softly when your voice wanted to be firm? How many times did you diminish yourself so as not to bother anyone? This silent surrender comes at a high price. Every time you negotiate your worth to be accepted, you lose a little more of yourself. Self-esteem isn't built on applause, but on the courage to be true to yourself even when no one is watching. And there's something liberating about that. When you let go of the need to prove yourself, you also let go of the weight of carrying the world on your shoulders. You discover that you don't need to convince anyone, or justify your choices, or ask permission to exist. Your life is not a stage. You are not a spectacle. You are a journey, intimate, profound, and unique. Whoever wants to accompany you may come of their own accord. Whoever doesn't want to may follow their own path. Today's practice is simple, yet powerful. Choose a situation where you've diminished your truth in order to be accepted. And today, just today, act according to who you truly are. Speak your mind. Say no when you don't want to. Stop explaining what only you need to understand. Because when you stop living to prove yourself, something extraordinary happens. Your presence changes. Your gaze changes. Your voice finds firmness. And people begin to respect you for who you are, not for what you try to appear to be. Write this down to seal this truth within yourself. I don't live to impress. I live to be true. Life only becomes lighter when we stop carrying what was never ours. 13. Let go of the pride that prevents you from asking for help. There's a type of pain that doesn't appear in the body, but weighs on the soul. The pain of trying to carry everything alone. You've felt it before. That feeling of needing to handle everything, solve everything, endure everything, as if admitting tiredness were weakness, as if needing someone were a flaw. That's pride disguised as strength. It convinces you that being self-sufficient is the only way, but in reality, it only isolates you, exhausts you, and leads you through deserts that could be crossed with less weight. Many people confuse independence with loneliness. They believe that asking for help is a sign of inadequacy, that accepting support means failing oneself. But the truth is the opposite. Asking for help is not falling, it's allowing yourself to continue. It's having the courage to admit that you are human, that you feel, that you get tired, that sometimes you falter, and that doesn't diminish you, it makes you real. Seneca said that no one is wise alone. Life is made of exchanges. We grow when we find mirrors in others. When someone holds our hand in the midst of chaos, when someone reminds us of what we have forgotten about ourselves. Pride, however, closes doors. It convinces you that it's better to suffer in silence than to show vulnerability. It makes you believe that asking for support is exposure, when in reality it's care. How many times have you tried to solve everything by force, even knowing that you were falling apart inside? How many nights have you stayed silent, pretending everything was fine, while your heart was crying out for help? How many opportunities for healing have you missed because you let silence speak for you? Carrying everything alone isn't heroism, it's exhaustion. It's like trying to hold back the sea with your hands. The water always slips away and the weight always returns in the form of fatigue. The world doesn't expect you to be invincible. Life didn't ask you to be a wall. It only asks you to be true to yourself. Strong isn't about enduring everything. Strong is about knowing when to ask for a shoulder before sinking. Asking for help is an act of humility, and humility is not about diminishing yourself. Humility is recognizing your limitations without shame. It's knowing that at certain times you need to learn to lean on someone to stay standing. It's not about depending on someone. It's not about giving up. It's about sharing the burden so that the journey doesn't break you in half. So look inside yourself honestly. There's something you've been trying to carry alone for too long. Maybe it's an old pain that's never been spoken. Maybe it's the responsibility of being strong for everyone. Maybe it's a situation that keeps repeating itself because you insist on facing it alone. Today, just today, let your pride rest. You don't need to announce it to the world. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify it. Just choose someone you trust, and say a simple but powerful phrase, I need help. See how this phrase relieves, how it creates space, how it allows air to circulate inside you again. Pride wants you to keep fighting alone. Courage wants you to keep living. Choose courage. Write it down to record it within yourself. Today I allow myself to be helped, because nobody succeeds in life by carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, but many people succeed when they learn to share the burden. 14. Abandon comparison as a way to measure your worth. Comparison is a silent prison. It doesn't arrive shouting, it doesn't knock on the door, it doesn't demand space. It simply settles in. First as a small thought, why did he succeed and I didn't? Then as a habit, you begin to measure your steps by the steps of others. And when you realize it, you're no longer living your own life. You only react to what you see. You walk, looking to the sides, not ahead. Comparison is the art of diminishing yourself through the hands of another. It's as if you took your story, with all the pain, overcoming, falls and restarts, and placed it next to a polished, planned and perfect shop window. You don't compare realities. You compare behind the scenes with appearances. Your struggle with someone else's result. Your exhaustion with someone else's edited smile, and that will never be fair. The mind knows, but the heart forgets. And when the heart forgets, you lose yourself. Comparison steals the present, kills gratitude, stifles authenticity. It makes you run a race that was never yours. It puts you in battles where you're already defeated. Because the focus is never on you, it's on the other person. And when the focus is on the other person, you disappear from yourself. Seneca said, "No one can be envied if you are content with yourself." And that's one of the hardest truths to accept, because in comparison, something is always missing. There's always someone better, faster, more beautiful, more intelligent, more advanced. But no matter what the other person has, none of that fills the void inside you. Comparison is a way of forgetting who you really are. When you spend your life looking at someone else's path, you fail to realize that there was a unique path waiting for you. What is yours is built according to your own measure, in your own time, at your own pace. Destiny doesn't accelerate by looking to the side. It is built by walking forward. Think of a tree. One grows quickly, the other takes years to take root before reaching the sky. But both fulfill their nature. Neither looks to the other to know when to bloom. They simply grow, but in their own time. The same applies to you. You're not late. You're not wasting your time. You're not falling behind. You are growing, and growth is silent. The comparison is noisy and anxious. Evolution is quiet and consistent. And there's something even deeper. No one can live your life for you. No one can feel what you feel, nor carry what you carry, nor fight the battles you fight in the silence of the early morning. You are the only one who knows where it hurts, where it weighs you down, and where you still need to get stronger. Comparing oneself to others is to forget this truth. Today's practice is simple, yet profound. When the urge to compare arises, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to myself or further away from myself? Step away, let go. Bring the focus back inward, for your silent achievements, for the strength you use to lift yourself up when no one was watching. For those small victories whose value only you know. Honor your journey, take care of your history, protect your rhythm. If you're going to compare yourself to the person you were yesterday. Just that, nothing more. Write, as a commitment to yourself. Today I stop measuring my worth by others, because those who live in comparison live small, but those who live in truth grow whole. 15. Get rid of the habits that are destroying you. You can't build a strong life on weak foundations. You can't ask for mental clarity if you continue to poison your own body. You can't expect emotional balance if your habits drain your energy every day. Everything in you is connected, mind, body, and spirit. And when one of these parts becomes ill, they all suffer together. Poor sleep, anxiety-driven eating, getting lost in empty distractions, repeating harsh self-criticisms, each of these habits acts like a slow poison. They corrode from within like rust. They work silently but wear down even what seemed firm. The worst part is that they don't destroy everything at once. They gradually drain your energy, stealing your will to act until one day you wake up and no longer recognize yourself. Deep down, you already know this. The problem isn't a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of decision. The habits that need to be cut are already clear within you. The question is, will you have the courage to uproot them now? Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his time, didn't let himself be defeated by self-sabotage. He woke up early, trained his body, wrote his reflections, and cultivated discipline every day. If even an emperor knew he needed to maintain his own customs, why would you neglect them? Musonius Rufus, who was Epictetus's teacher, spoke even more firmly. The life of one who seeks wisdom must be a constant training of body and soul. There is no true virtue in a neglected body, And there is no mental clarity when the mind is full of exaggerations and excesses. Remember, the way you take care of yourself shows the kind of person you are. Ask yourself now, which battles have you already won silently, and which are you still losing? Every new good habit you create is like a solid foundation for your future, but every bad habit you maintain is like a hidden anchor pulling you down. Write to yourself, "Today I choose to overcome my habits." This small symbolic act is the first blow against what weakens you. It's a way of declaring that you will no longer be a prisoner of what destroys you little by little, because in the end, the most dangerous enemies aren't out there. They live disguised in the behaviors you repeat every day. Cutting out these habits is the quietest, yet most powerful victory you can achieve. If this message made you think, subscribe now, leave a like, and share it with someone you also want to see succeed. Thanks for watching.